Action.
So kids, let's start Union Parliament 2. Last chapter we had spoken about Lok Sabha. First, let's start today with Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha, also called as Upper House of the Parliament, also called as Council of State. Upper House and Council of State. In Rajya Sabha, the total number of members are 250, from which let us understand the bifurcation. Not more than 238 can be elected. Who are these elected members? Who elects them? A very important question, especially for MCQ. They can ask, name the body or name the group of people who elect Rajya Sabha. So the people who elect Rajya Sabha are the elected members of, so let me go back to your 9th standard state legislature chapter. If you all remember, state legislature mein we had done that there are two houses at every state level, Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad. Vidhan Sabha is also called as State Legislative Assembly. So if we have 28 states, we have 28 State Legislative Assembly, and the members of State Legislative Assemblies are called as MLAs. So all the elected MLAs of all the State Legislative Assembly will be electing the members of Rajya Sabha. So who elects member of Rajya Sabha? Elected members of SLA. Of course in exam nobody is going to write SLA. State Legislative Assembly, which is also called as Vidhan Sabha. And of all the states, these are the people who will be electing the members of Rajya Sabha. Further, there are 12 members who don't have to stand for election. They state get entry because they are nominated, and the nomination is done by president from different field like art, literature, sports. For example, Mary Kom, she was a great athlete. She was a member of Rajya Sabha. So many actors, many artists, many dancers, many teachers, scientists are given this post. So who will be giving them nomination? President. So 12 members are nominated, 238 members are elected. Don't forget to remember the body who elects member of Rajya Sabha. They are elected by State Legislative Assembly, which is also called as Vidhan Sabha. If you want to be a member of Rajya Sabha, the qualification are same like Lok Sabha. Only there is a difference of age. To be a member of Rajya Sabha, your age minimum should be 30. Rest, citizen of India. You should not be a proclaimed criminal. You should be a registered voter in any constituency of India. You should not be holding office of profit under the government. You should not be of unsound mind, and you should not be insolvent. These qualifications are same like Lok Sabha except for age. To be a member of Rajya Sabha, minimum age requirement is 30. Rajya Sabha once elected, the members are elected for the term of 6 years. Just a quick recap, Lok Sabha members were elected for the term of 5 years. Rajya Sabha members are elected for the term of 6 years. But every 2 years, and this is a very important point, every 2 years, 1/3 of its member will retire. Every 2 years, 1/3 of its member will retire. Lok Sabha, if you all remember, was a house which could be dissolved before 5 years. We had discussed that Lok Sabha can be dissolved before 5 years. But Rajya Sabha, it's a permanent house. It cannot be dissolved. This question once, I think 2-3 years back in board exam had come for 3 marks. Why is Rajya Sabha a permanent house? This was the first question or second question of section B, civics section. 3 marks given this question was there. So Rajya Sabha's normal term is 6 years, but every 2 years 1/3 of its member will retire. It cannot be dissolved. It's a permanent house. Lok Sabha can be dissolved, but Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. So it's a permanent house. Now, the presiding officer of Rajya Sabha is chairman Also, his post is also called as ex officio chairman, and we don't have to appoint chairman. So, like if you remember, the presiding officer of Lok Sabha was speaker, who was elected by the members of Lok Sabha. But the presiding officer of Rajya Sabha is chairman, who don't need to be elected. He is basically the vice president of our country. Whoever will be vice president of our country will automatically become chairman of Rajya Sabha, also called as presiding officer of Rajya Sabha. The vice president of our country is elected by the members of Lok Sabha and the members of Rajya Sabha. In short, members of both the houses together elect vice president, and that vice president become chairman of Rajya Sabha. That means presiding officer of Rajya Sabha. So who is the presiding officer of Rajya Sabha? Chairman. Who is chairman? Vice president of the country. Who appoints vice president of the country? All the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In short, members of both the houses of the parliament. Now, in case chairman is absent, we shall also have deputy chairman. But deputy chairman is going to do work only for Rajya Sabha in case chairman is absent. So this deputy chairman is going to be appointed by Rajya Sabha. So they can ask, who are the presiding officers of Rajya Sabha? Chairman, who is vice president of India. And how are they appointed? In absence of chairman, deputy chairman. Chairman is appointed by Lok Sabha Rajya Sabha member together because he is also a vice president of our country. Deputy chairman is appointed by the members of Rajya Sabha. So this was about the members of Rajya Sabha and little information about Rajya Sabha. Now kids, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha together performs lot of function. In the beginning also I told you, this chapter is about central government. That is, this is about Union Parliament. So, today we are going to see what are the powers and functions of Union Parliament. I repeat again, when I say Union Parliament, I am talking about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha both. In short, I am talking about central government. I am talking about central government. So the first function is legislative power. You should know very well which function is under which heading. Legislative power. So now kids, in our country, there are many subjects on which our government has to frame laws. There are so many subjects: education, sports, railway, defense, foreign affairs. So many subjects are there. So many subjects are there. Because of course there should be law. So some laws are mainly focusing some certain states, focusing state. So the laws on those matter will be made only by state government. Our government is operating at two levels, central and state. Some matters are of national importance. For example, defense, foreign affairs, communication, banking. These are the matters of national importance. So on them, the law will be made by Union Parliament. And some laws will have both central and state, दोनों का involvement होना चाहिए. So who will make law on that? We will discuss that. First, I will start with union list. So first legislative power is union list. What do you mean by union list? It means parliament. Parliament means central government has to make laws on the subjects given in the union list. Foreign affairs, defense, communication, banking, these all functions will come under union list. Who will make laws on the subjects? Union list, Union Parliament. So first function of Union Parliament under legislative power is to make laws. To make laws on the subjects which are given in union list. Will anyone else interfere with Union Parliament while making this law? No. No one else will interfere. totally Union Parliament is alone going to make laws on the subjects, again I am repeating, mentioned in the Union list. Now kids, when you learn this answer, there are few examples given like banking, foreign affairs, defense. Remember to learn the examples, because in MCQ they can give you 4 options on which of the subjects will not come under Union list, and they can give you example and ask you to mark or not mark. So please make a note to remember all the examples in this. Second, there are some subjects. I'll give you an example. For example, let's say if there is a port, we have Maharashtra mein port, Mumbai port. Now, the port is managed by central government. Who is managing Mumbai port? Maharashtra. So ideally, who should make law with respect to those ports? Maharashtra government, that is state government. But on ports, we have international business happening. Import, export, it's an international business. So, central government ideally also should get involved while making the law. So there are many such matters on which central government, that is Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and state government, that is Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, both of them together will make a law. I just give you an example, ports. So ports के laws कौन बनाएगा? Central government, state government दोनों मिलके बनाएंगे. While making the law, if there is a conflict, the choice of union government shall prevail. So union list, only central government or parliament will make law. Concurrent list, central and state both will make law. But if there is a conflict, who shall have upper hand? Central. Third, who makes law on state list? For example, महाराष्ट्र के state government के exams कब होने चाहिए? महाराष्ट्र में टोल कितना होना चाहिए? These all decisions are to be decided by state government. They are purely left on state government कि you make law for your state. Correct? So central cannot handle so much. Now, so on all those subjects, the laws will be made by state government. Whichever subjects are given in state list, on all those subjects, who will make law? State government. But there are 3 exception situations when the subjects are given in state list, still central government will make law. First exception situation is at the time of emergency. And kids, this is a very important question for 3 marks. At the time of emergency, for example, when there was COVID, at that time, so many powers of state government was stopped. So many subjects which are given in state list. But at that time, who was making law on those subjects? Central government, because it was a situation of emergency. So when there is emergency, central government has power to make laws on the subjects given in the state list. Second, if 2 or more than 2 states, if 2 or more than 2 states are of the opinion, 2 or more than 2 states are of the opinion that the subject which is given in the state list, but those states want central government to make law for them. They want parliament should make law for them. So those states will request the parliament कि please you make law for us on the subjects which is told to us. Let's take an example, Gujarat and UP. ये दोनों की state government ने जाके central government या parliament को request किया that this particular law बनाने का power हमारे पास है, हमारे state के लिए. But we request central government to make law on it. In that case, who will make law on those particular matters जहाँ पे इन लोगों ने request रखा है? Central government. Central government means union parliament. But that will be applicable only to those states who requested, not for all the states. Other states are fine. They like we can make the law for us. We don't want you to make law for us. But usually, I'll tell you one thing. This usually happens in which state where central state government is same. Now, if you see Gujarat, UP, they both are BJP currently. Even central government right now is NDA, BJP alliance. So usually what happens is this. Sometimes states request, but minimum 2 state का request होना चाहिए. Maximum as many state, but minimum 2 states should request it. Then the law will be made by Union Parliament on the subjects which are given in which list? State list. But will it be applicable to all the states? No. Only to those states who requested it. Third, sometimes 2/3 member of Rajya Sabha, RS means Rajya Sabha, passes a resolution. 2/3 members of Rajya Sabha passes a resolution saying that the subject which are given in state list, from that few subjects have become of national importance. Sometimes Rajya Sabha feels that the subjects which are given in state list में बहुत सारे subjects हैं, more than 50 subjects हैं. So Rajya Sabha will say कि no, इसमें से ये एक दो subjects है ना, वो बहुत national importance के subject हो गए हैं. And state government should not make law. Who should make law? Union Parliament. In that case, Union Parliament will make law. But who has to pass a resolution to bring that into effect? Rajya Sabha. By how many majority? 2/3 majority. So these are the three situations when the subjects which are given in the state list, but who will make law on them? Union Parliament. These are the three exceptional situations. And there are subjects which are not given in any of the list. There are subjects which are not given in any of the list. Okay, which are not given in any of the list. I'll give you an example. Let's say we came up with a software. अभी कोई नया software आया. अभी वो software को लेके क्या law बनाना चाहिए? कहीं पे भी नहीं लिखा है. The law, who should make law on that software is not given in any of the list. So now who will make law on that? Central government. That is Union Parliament. And this power of Union Parliament is called as residuary power. What is it called as? Residuary power. Again, a very important question for 2 marks. Who make power? What is residuary power? The power of the Union Parliament to make laws on those subjects which are not given in any of the list. Which are not given in any of the list. That will be made by Union Parliament, and this power is called as residuary power. Very, very important question for 2 marks. Also, the next power is ordinance. The next power is ordinance. A very, very, very important topic for your board exam. Ordinance. Please always remember one thing. Ordinance, you should not take it lightly. What is ordinance? Ordinance are temporary order. What are ordinance? Temporary order. Who issue this temporary order? President. Why is President issuing this temporary order? Because both the houses are not in session. So let me frame the answer again. What are ordinance? A, they are the temporary order. B, they are issued by President. Why has President issued it? Maybe in country there is some emergency situation which demands immediate action. But both the houses are not in session. So in that case, President will take action by issuing the order, and those orders are called as ordinance. Ordinance are temporary orders issued by President when both the houses are not in session. The answer is still incomplete. The ordinance are temporary, but their status is no less than act of the Parliament. Their status is no less than act of the Parliament. They are no less than act of the Parliament. Ordinance are that important. Ordinance are temporary order issued by President when both the houses are not in session, whose status is no less than act of the Parliament. Why am I saying that temporary order? Because the moment both the houses reassemble, see, President had issued this ordinance because both the houses were not in session. But when both the houses will come back in session, President will have to present the ordinance to both the houses, asking for their approval. If both the houses approve it, then the ordinance will continue. What if both the houses doesn't approve it? Then that ordinance will cease to operate, will stop to operate after 6 weeks from the date of its issue. Then it will continue only for, only how many weeks? 6 weeks. So ho gaya temporary. That's why it is called as temporary. So kids, what are ordinance? Temporary order issued by President when both the houses are not in session, whose status is no less than act of the Parliament. They are temporary because both the houses, when they will assemble, what will President have to do? President will have to present the ordinance to both the houses. If both the houses will approve, it will continue as long as they receive the approval. But if both the houses will not approve, the ordinance will cease to operate. Cease to operate means in 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, it will cease to operate. And last legislative power is power during emergency. Power during emergency. So many times any state goes through emergency. At that time, Parliament can take charge of the state for making laws and all. So at that time, Parliament will be making laws for that state. Okay. This was one such power in which there were many 2 marks question, also very important. Now we do the very easy function. Financial power. So first we did legislative power. Now second is what? Financial power. Financial power. So let's talk about financial power of the Parliament. You know what? We say that financial power is with Parliament, but in reality, both the houses do not have financial power. In Parliament, it is only Lok Sabha who has financial power. So real power of finance is only with Lok Sabha. So now whatever powers I'm going to say, they all are indirectly function of Lok Sabha only in finance. So the first financial power of Lok Sabha is what? To prepare budget. Budget is the estimation of income and expenditure for the financial year. It's an estimation of income and expenditure for the financial year. Who prepares budget? Lok Sabha. Second function is to decide the salaries of the member of parliament. The salaries are decided. The salaries of our parliament member is decided by parliament. That is by Lok Sabha. Now, money bill. In short, any tax can be introduced only with the approval of Lok Sabha. We all had done in the last chapter. Money bill can be introduced only by Lok Sabha. Does Rajya Sabha has any power with respect to money bill? No. Rajya Sabha can hold back the bill for 14 days. After the period of 14 days, Lok Sabha has to send the bill back. Okay. Rajya Sabha's advice is also optional, up to Lok Sabha to accept or not. Money bill cannot be rejected by Rajya Sabha. Now, then next we have is, so budget, salaries, money bill, tax. Money bill, tax is same. Now next we have is supplementary grants. What is supplementary grants? So now listen to me. Every minister is authorized a fund for the financial year. Every minister is authorized fund for the financial year. Every financial year के लिए every minister को एक fund authorize किया जाता है. Okay? Sometimes the financial year is not over. Sometimes the financial year is not over, but the amount which was authorized for that year gets over. The amount which was authorized for that year gets over. In that case, our ministers' money will be all exhausted. They don't have money to spend because the year is over. No, sorry, year is not over, the funds are over. In that case, they can make fresh demand. And that fresh demand is called as supplementary grants. So I'll repeat again. Sometimes the financial year is not over, but before that, whatever fund was allotted to them, that fund is over. In that case, they will be authorized the new amount, which is called as supplementary grants. Then we have vote on account. Vote on account is also a financial power of Lok Sabha, which allows our executive ministers to withdraw funds. So let me explain you this point. By 1st of April, which is the beginning of new financial year, 1st April is the new financial year begins. You know, by financial year begins means by 1st of April, our budget should be approved. Our budget should be approved. Then only the money will be going to the respective department, to the respective ministers. Now sometimes what happen is, the new financial year has begun. The new financial year has begun, but budget is not approved yet. So in that case, our ministers will have no money to spend. I repeat again, many times the new financial year has begun, but budget is not approved yet. So our ministers will have no money to spend. Our ministers will have no money to spend. In that case, they have right to withdraw fund, to withdraw money from consolidated fund of the country. Kids, what is the meaning of consolidated? Now let me tell you one thing, and please make a note of it. There are two funds in our country. One is consolidated fund and one is contingency fund. Contingency fund is the fund which is kept aside for unforeseen expenditure, emergency fund, and consolidated is kept for the working of the country. So I'll repeat again, if the new financial year has begun and budget is not approved, until budget is not approved, ministers will get no money to spend. So the budget is not approved, so year has started, ministers have no money to spend. So now what will they do? Withdraw money. Where, which fund? From which fund will they withdraw money? From that emergency fund? No. They will withdraw money from consolidated fund. So when you explain vote on account, don't forget to mention the word consolidated fund of the country. Am I clear with that? Okay. So budget, salaries, money bill or tax, supplementary grants and vote on account are the financial power of parliament. In short, are the financial power of Lok Sabha. Because in parliament, in matter of finance, only Lok Sabha has all the powers. Is that clear? Now we are going to talk about the third function, which is a very, very simple and very easy function. The third function is judicial power. Judicial power. So kids, in our country, listen to me very carefully. Remember these all people, president, vice president, they both can be removed from their post. Their removal process is called as impeachment. What is their removal process called as? Impeachment. Who has power to impeach them? Parliament. Who has power to impeach them? Parliament. Also, judges of Supreme Court and High Court can also be removed from their post, and that process is also called as impeachment. And who can impeach them? Parliament. Okay. Also, there are people like Chief Election Commissioner. Chief Election Commissioner. I'm writing a short form. CEC, Chief Election Commissioner, and CAG. CAG means Comptroller and Auditor General of India, the one who is maintaining audit and everything for the country. CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Even these people can be removed from their post by the process of impeachment, and again their impeachment can be done by Parliament. You need to remember very well which all people can be impeached. They might put an MCQ on this asking which people can be impeached or not impeached. Also, if any person is obstructing the work of the Parliament, Parliament has full right to punish those people. Full right they have to punish those people. These are the judicial power of Parliament. Easy? So they have right to impeach and they have right to punish. Impeach the people of very high post like President, Vice President, CAG, CEC, Judges of Supreme Court, Judges of High Court. Now next power of the Parliament is, the next power of the Parliament is electoral power. Electoral power. So kids, last chapter we had done Speaker. who elects speaker, and in absence of speaker, there was deputy speaker. Who appoints speaker and deputy speaker? The members of Lok Sabha. Then today we spoke about Rajya Sabha's presiding officer, chairman, who is also vice president of India. Now we also saw that he is appointed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha both together. Then we spoke today about deputy chairman, who will be working on behalf of chairman if chairman is absent. Deputy chairman, and he is appointed by Rajya Sabha's member. He is appointed by Rajya Sabha's member. Then we spoke about, we didn't speak today about that person, but president. President is elected indirectly by a group of people called as electoral college. And in that electoral college, who all are member? Lok Sabha members, Rajya Sabha members, and state legislative assembly. Kids, what am I trying to tell you? Did you see in all these people's election, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha or both the houses are involved? So that is why this is called as electoral power of the parliament. They have electoral power, means they have right to elect. Whom do they elect? These all people. Okay, I've made a flow chart on this which I will share with you all. It will be quite easier for you all to remember it from that. Now the next power, we are left with last 5-10 minutes. The next power of the parliament is amendment of the constitution. You know, Indian constitution is so many times amended. Correct? Amendment means what? Change. To modify. To change. Let's say we want to change a law regarding citizenship. Now, let's take an example. Let's say this is Lok Sabha, this is Rajya Sabha. Now, any one house can put a proposal that they want to amend this part of the constitution. Both the houses have full right. Whichever house wishes to do the amendment, why they want to do the amendment, how will that help? They have to put up that proposal. Either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, any of the house can put that proposal. In my example, let me say Rajya Sabha put a proposal. They want to amend the citizenship law. Okay, they want to change this. They have come up with some new law. Okay, now Rajya Sabha has put this proposal. Please understand very well how the amendment takes place. In my example, who has given this proposal? Rajya Sabha. But Rajya Sabha should put up this proposal with 2/3 majority. If Rajya Sabha by 2/3 majority said, okay, yes, we want to amend this, now the matter will go to Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha will do the discussion. After discussion, either by 2/3 majority, Lok Sabha will say yes, when we agree with your amendment, we want to amend it. Or they can say by 2/3 majority, say no, okay, we don't want to amend. If Lok Sabha by 2/3 majority will say yes, then only this amendment will take place. But if Lok Sabha with 2/3 majority say no, then this amendment will not take place. Okay, similarly could have taken place if Lok Sabha could have put the, if suppose, let's reverse the example. Let's say Lok Sabha had put up the proposal by 2/3 majority saying that we want to amend this law. Okay, 2/3 majority ne bola. Now the matter will go to Rajya Sabha. If Rajya Sabha also by 2/3 majority would say yes, then this amendment will take place. In short, always one house, any one house can put a proposal that they want to amend the constitution, and other house by 2/3 majority either can say yes or can say no. That is why it is said that amendment of constitution mein both the houses have equal power. Why both the houses have equal power? Because there is no joint voting of the houses. There is individual voting of the house. One house we ask by 2/3 majority. Other house, one house by 2/3 majority put proposal. Other house by 2/3 majority can say yes or no. See kids, wherever there is joint voting of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, always Lok Sabha will have upper hand. Why? Because the members of Lok Sabha are more than double. But when individual house ka voting is taken, both the houses have equal footing. Here the more members of Lok Sabha will not work. Because individually if Lok Sabha ne proposal rakha, to Rajya Sabha individually can also reject that amendment. Here, if there is a tie, there will be no joint meeting. एक house ने ना बोल दिया तो बोल दिया, then further no joint meeting. In this case, both of them have equal power. This is how amendment of the constitution takes place. Then we have last, control over executive. In our councils, in our government, there are councils of ministers. They are called as executive. They are the ones who have excellent, like maximum power. हमारे कंट्री में सबसे ज्यादा पावर किनके पास होता है? एग्जीक्यूटिव. So how is control over executive kept? So now if you remember in chapter 1 I had told you every member has right to ask question from the government, and that right is called as interpellation. So interpellation is a very good way of keeping control on the executive. In that also the best method is question hour. So government always will work very cautiously because they know they can come under the question hour, thing. Also, like question hour, you need to remember more two names. There is one more method called as calling attention notice. You just have to remember the name of this method. And there is one more method called as half an hour discussion. So kids, see, these are the three best methods of obtaining information of the government. If you want to ask question from the government, these three are very good method to ask question. Very good method to ask question. Okay, but the best out of them is of course question hour. Then the second way of keeping control over the ministers is other motions. For example, we can pass censure motion. Okay, censure motion means you can censure some of the policies of the government. Okay, rejection of government bill. अगर government का bill कोई भी reject हुआ, it is as good as no confidence motion. Okay, passing private member bill. Passing private member bill against the wish of government. कोई नॉन गवर्नमेंट मेंबर एक बिल पास कर रहा है, गवर्नमेंट नहीं चाहता कि वो पास होना चाहिए, फिर भी वो पास हो जाता है. That means nobody is supporting government. So that is also as good as no confidence motion. Okay, also we also have monetary control to be kept on the ministers. How is monetary control kept over the minister? So, our ministers are given so much of money, but of course not for the personal use, for the country's use. Now who will examine, who will keep check whether that money is used for that purpose? So in parliament there is a committee, and I want everyone to underline the name of that committee. Public Account Committee. The name of the committee is Public Account Committee. This committee is given the task of what? Keep on checking, is the public money used for the same purpose? They can question the minister. How is the money being used? Why did they use more here? They have right. Basically, they are the one who can take hisab kitab from the minister. Got it? Also, CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, he prepares the audit report of the country. Now that audit report can be examined by whom? Will be examined by whom? Again, CAG. So this CAG, it will be examined by whom? By Public Account Committee. So this committee, please mark this point for 2 marks, very important. Third point, monetary control. How is monetary control kept? 2 ways. There is a committee. What is the name of the committee? Public Account Committee. This committee makes sure, is public money used for the same purpose or not? Second, they will go through the audit report. Whose audit report? CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. And in that audit report, if they find any mistake, they can pinpoint it or they can take action against that. At the time of budget, we have right, the opposition can pass cut motion also to keep the money control. So this is how control over the executive is kept. Now, these were the main functions. Now, after going through this chapter, one thing is clear. Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. Why Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha? Money bill can be introduced only by Lok Sabha. No confidence motion can be passed only by Lok Sabha. Adjournment motion can be passed only by Lok Sabha. Chalo, ordinary bill can be introduced by Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha both. But in case there is a tie, always there will be a joint voting. And again I am repeating, when there is a joint voting, the choice of Lok Sabha shall prevail because Lok Sabha's membership is more than double the members of Rajya Sabha. So these are the exclusive power of Lok Sabha. What about Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha has some exclusive power. Yes, don't worry. Rajya Sabha also has some exclusive power. So, सबसे पहले, I don't know how many of you remember when I was talking about state list. I gave you 3 exceptional situations when the subjects given in the state list, the law can be made by Parliament. And that the third situation was when 2/3 member of Rajya Sabha passes a resolution saying that a law has become of national importance and let the law be made by central government. So Rajya Sabha by 2/3 majority can give power to Parliament to make laws on the subject given in the state list. To make laws on the subject given in the state list. Second, Rajya Sabha can create new all India services in our country. Rajya Sabha can create new all India services in our country. Third, at the time of national emergency, if Lok Sabha is dissolved, in that case, Lok Sabha is not more working anymore. Rajya Sabha will be called as de jure, means Rajya Sabha will take the charge of government. Because Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, it cannot be dissolved. In that case, Rajya Sabha will head the government and will take the charge. So at the time of national emergency, Rajya Sabha is more powerful. So these are the special or exclusive power of Rajya Sabha. Is that clear? So that was all about Parliament. In matter of finance, Lok Sabha is powerful. Okay. At the time of emergency, Rajya Sabha is more powerful. In case of amendment, both are equally powerful. Even in impeachment, both are equally powerful. But yes, overall, Lok Sabha always has upper hand. Alright. Thank you.